He did. I think they found not only their present back, but their
key bad elbow. He had 99 receiving yards as a pro coming in, 101.
He gets drilled. Here's Freeman again. He's been busy on this possession.
He was looking for some room, and there's nothing. Middle linebacker read it for him. Great career.
Any of us has ever been around.
And the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
The team, and they'll give it to McCaffrey, who will pick up. He gets all the way down to the 42 of Jackson. Touchdown! Ted Ginn Jr. As McCaffrey breaks loose for a first down up across the 40, shutting out the Panthers. Straight ahead, McCaffrey.
Yo, you are now tuned in to the Off the Porch podcast with the podcast point guard, Derek Lamont. Coming off them screens, hitting them threes, giving you that information that you need. Oh, Panther family, how we doing this beautiful day? I hope everybody's in good health, good spirits, just feeling good. We done made it to hump day. It's Wednesday, halfway through the week. For some people, maybe got that 4-day week. Work them 10 hours a day. They right there at that precipice of getting to have a weekend, yelling at, thank God it's Friday. Yo, I'm just so absolutely and thoroughly ecstatic today to be able to come and talk to y'all. And before I would even start, I would be remiss not to thank some of the people that are very important to me that have encouraged and helped me get to where I'm at right now. First of all, shout out to the C3 family. Shout out to Jamaica Taylor. You know who you are, sis. Shout out to A1 Roberta Son, one of the dopest rappers to ever do it. Check him out wherever you digest good music. Diesel Skills, Cole, the great Tony Dunn, the homie Cody Lack, Twan Don, everybody needs a G, baby. And the whole Panther community, Miss Vashti, Miss Carolina Blitz, Sheena Quick, everybody, every content creator that's out here providing coverage and highlighting these Carolina Panthers. I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I salute you. So today, I had decided I was going to just talk about what I believe and the things that are important to me right now about the Carolina Panthers and what we're going into. And I know that when you get to the end of the season and you might have your disappointments or you're kind of jaded because you're watching other teams live your dream and get to play out things that you want to play out. You want to end your season, even if it's not a Super Bowl, being a fan of a playoff team. I get it. It's a beautiful thing. Fanaticism is one of the most interesting psychological things that's probably out there on the face of this earth. But one of the things that I'm proud to say that I'm thankful for and that I'm proud of is the evolution of the Carolina Panthers. Now, you might say, oh, D, it's not much different than what it was last year. The defense is trash. The defense is inept, and The defensive coordinator needs to be gone. And since he's not gone, then, well, we're doomed and we have no hope. I just want to say, sometimes you got to stand out on a limb. And it's not like everything they've thrown in us this year has been inept. And mind you, I will never tell anybody how to fan. Like all of your feelings, all of your reservations, everything that you've had, I understand. I stand with you. I understand the PTSD is real. I understand there's a lot of jaded Panther fans out here in this community. But let's talk about it. Like, first off, let's talk about Dan Morgan. And Dan we trust. The man that coined that he wanted dogs to appear for the Carolina Panthers. He needed dogs to be a part of the Carolina Panthers. And he started his process of getting dogs. And at the time, a lot of people didn't think too much of the importance of Ashawn Robinson. He had one of his better years of his career, and I thought that he was really the true bright spot of that defensive line. That's a Dan acquisition. He drafted a young, capable linebacker that I'm totally excited for. Has athletic presence, can cover like a son of a gun, and I believe he can put that pop, snap, crackle, that Rice Krispies treat all to a defender. And that's in that young Trevin Wallace. And then within the linebacker core, we had a lot of injuries, but at times we saw Josie Jewell fight. Oh, my heart goes out to Shaq Thompson, but I salute you for everything that you've done for the Panthers. Even if you come back or you're not, you were truly a personification of keep pounding. You were a bridge of the old guard into the new guard, and we thank you for never wavering or just running for a ring or running for the next paycheck. You, my sir, are a Panther, and I thank you for what you've done. I don't know what the future may hold for you, sir, but you have a fan here. And then we go on, and Dan took that 7th round draft pick, draft pick, and flipped it to a serviceable corner who turned out to be a lot more than people had expected. I know that a lot of Seattle fans were discouraged when he left, but I guess he just couldn't make room there. But thank God he came to the 704, and that was Mike Jackson. And see, the thing about Mike Jackson was he told everybody to beat it. He told them he was looking at the man in the mirror. He remembered the times when success had came to him. He was really ready to be starting something. He got out there and made plays at times that had the offense just thrilled, had it like a straight thriller. It was a horror out there. The boy from Germany came home and he let the Giants know that it's only human nature that he was able to come out there and do the things that he did. Why? Tell him that is human nature. Yeah, that's what Mike Jackson was doing to him, people. And then as we went on, we discovered young dogs that could become great in Damani Richardson. And I know there was some dead and excess weight, but see, the one thing about Dan and the one thing about Dave, I saw them trimming and pruning all year with what there was available. They took advantage of that waiver wire at every chance they could. They introduced phone calls. They made moves. Now, when we switched to the offensive end with Dan, and Dan brought in big old Donkey Kong Robert Hunt and big old Diddy Kong Damian Lewis to help fortify that line, it meant the world to the success of the Carolina Panthers, putting them beside big old Tyler Moton and putting them around that sticky Ikwanu. It's a beautiful thing. It was what was needed. And see, when you have a competent GM, they can sit back and look at the framework of your team and start to identify what needs to be done and starts to do it. You cannot have anything but absolute hope and faith in the future of your franchise. I'm calling it. And then as we went on, they invested in Chuba Hubbard. They saw the work that he put in. They saw that he stayed out to practice. They saw that he became more vocal. They saw that he was ready to take up a leadership role for these Carolina Panthers. And that he did. And he did it at a high level. Some would say extraordinary. That's what Chuba brought to this team. And Dan identified it. He rewarded that man. He backed up the Brinks truck. He had him playing Drake in the background and Canada and old Canada, and they were waving their flags and the maple syrup was flowing as Chuba Hubbard signed that contract. And he balled for us. He didn't waver for us. He fought even when the score was not reachable. It was not attainable. Chuba led the example. Sometimes it's not about the talk, and it's more and mainly predominantly about the walk. He made the walk, people. And then as we went on, and Adam Thielen, see, people, you looked at Adam Thielen being hurt. We saw quarterback struggling while he was out. And yeah, maybe he is a safety blanket to Bryce. But what better safety blanket to have than Adam Thielen? And see, one of the things that's so discounted about this whole Adam Thielen situation is when you look at the younger guys. When you see a Jalen Coker, if you really sit and pay attention to some of his releases, the way he breaks, the way he cuts, the way his routes seem so fluid. Seem like he just on there with that Chris Brown, just getting the dancers back flipping route while he doing his routes. And I'm undecided. But the defense is undecided because they don't know what to check at that time. Adam Thielen is just flowing all over Jalen Coker. No, did it. You can see little nuances and changes in how Excel was moving routes before the season was over with. That's the Thielen effect that was permeating all over Excel. No, did it. And then you saw guys like Jatavion Sanders, who you saw even him. You saw his routes look a little more crisper before the end. No, did it, because that Thielen juice was just spraying all over that wide receiver room, just wildly splatting. There's Thielen juice on the wall right now. People know, did it. And then, we sit here and we talk, and Dan Morgan had the foresight to see that Deontay Johnson was going to become a bigger problem in this situation. He saw that he was going to tear down the things that him and Dave were building. And when you're building a foundation, them bricks have to be solidified. They have to be secure. They've got to be able to hold the weight of the rest of the structure. And he made sure he got them bricks with the cracks out of them. And just to show that he was right, Deontay traveled on down to Baltimore just to get sent back out the door, then just to go to Houston, who is a playoff team at the time also, and he still can't stay on the roster. See, that's the opposite of the Thielen effect. See, that becomes when you get that poison. I remember back when Vince McMahon talking about he was going to inject the NWO into the WWE, and the reason was because he was going to inject poison and try to tear it down. Well, I am convinced that Deontay Johnson is that poison. But Dan Morgan, the ultimate antibiotic, sweeped them, cleared them out, and now look at what we got going on. We had Jalen Coker able to build the confidence that fans are totally ecstatic about an undrafted free agent who has stepped out there in that spotlight and produced and sometimes shined brighter than the first rounder. But whoa, baby, we're not about to disrespect that first rounder because Excel is coming. Mr. Take the Clothes Off is about to take the top off of defenses next year. He's ready. That boy took it so hard when certain things didn't go right. And yeah, he was banged up, and we're not making excuses because we are dogs. That man canceled events. He wanted to focus on what he did. The young man got hurt in the offseason last year, grinding just to prove that he was a viable part of that wide receiver room. If that doesn't scream dog to me, I don't know what does. Oh, yeah, people. And even though it was unfortunate that the young pup Jonathan Brooks got hurt, Oh boy, it just hurt me. And it's not even for the fact of the Carolina Panthers. See, the beauty of your podcast, Point Guard, is I love to bring the human element when it comes to my sports. And well, when it comes to it, you think about a young man that was ready to lead a big college program as a running back. Not even halfway through the season, blows his tie out, ACL to pieces. Still blessed enough by our Lord and Savior to get drafted in the second round. And he rehabbed, and he rehabbed, and he rehabbed. And he came back and in such a fashion, he blew that tie again. And I believe with a coach like Canellis, and I believe with a man like Dan Morgan, and those guys who, as this season went on, and they galvanized and rallied around each other and believed in the man that was next to him, they're going to build that young man up. They're going to be step for step with that man, and he will come back. It might not be next season, but oh, family, I love redemption, and I can't wait to hear the story of Jonathan Brooks. So to some, they might say that maybe that was the flaw with Dan Morgan and Dave Canellis this year. But let's go even further, that Dave and Dan understood the assignment even when we did not understand the assignment. Oh, how we were just outraged. Oh, we was up in arms. We was just disgusted that our starting franchise quarterback was not playing in preseason games. Oh, it was an indictment. Everybody was like, oh, what we got going on. And you know, we live in a world where there is the pro and there's the con. So there was a lot of pros and there was a lot of cons. And then it was met with even more controversy and ridicule and vitriol when they did put him in the last preseason game against a lot of second stringers and third stringers. Now, me, I'll tell you, I was on that boat that just maybe they want to keep him healthy. Maybe he didn't want to show his hand. But in hindsight, he knew that the young dog wasn't ready at that moment. He didn't want to throw that after the year that Bryce Young had just had. See, this boy right here, that you know what, that man, Dave Canellis, was sitting here doing Jedi mind tricks, and I guess enough of us hadn't been tuned into Star Wars to even know that it was happening. So he gave you what you wanted. You asked for it. We want Bryce. We want Bryce. We want to see him in the preseason. We got to know what's going on. We got to have it. He's like, look, I'm trying to tell you. Sit back. But you know what? That's what you want. That's what you want. Dave gonna give it to you. So Dave decided to give it to you. Dave gave it to you. So then we get out here in the season. Bryce ain't ready yet. Offense ain't kicking yet. The defense is already anemic. Magnifies everything that's going wrong on the offensive end just for the simple fact that we're so hellacious on the defensive end. Oh boy, I'm talking now. So then we get to the bank. Home game. Ready. You know, I was in them Panther spaces and I'm listening. People were just becoming more disgusted by the days. Poor Cole was going to jump off the building, but then realized that the building wasn't that high, and he really didn't want to have to deal with a broken ankle, a dislocated knee, maybe even a fracture in his back, and it didn't take him out. That means he would have failed twice that day because he felt like he failed when the Panthers didn't win, and then he didn't fail adequately in jumping off the building. So now we get to the time that now Dave says, you know what? Enough is enough. It's time for a change. Shout out to Owen Hart. He decides to put in the red rifle, red rocket, red whatever you like. He gets out there. We get there to Vegas. We start rolling them dice. All of a sudden, we get a win in a convincing fashion. Just like all of us, we shoot through the roof. No reason to shoot through the roof because we went right back to the regular. But then Andy, and boy, let me tell you how God works. And now, mind you, I never wish no harm, ill on anyone. Ever. But one of the craziest things, in my opinion, just in my honest opinion, is how God works. Andy Dalton was in a ride in his whip with his family, got into an accident, sprained his thumb. Thank God that him and his family are in good health and have wealth. But then it was time for Dave to make a serious decision. It was time to put in Bryce 2.0, the upgrade. He got the chips in. He had finally got it in. He didn't get to test it like he really wanted to, but for dire situations, dire measures are required. So now the prototype has now been thrown out, and we got to update BY9 2.0. And you start to see little flashes. You start to see a little razzle dazzle. You see a little shake in his walk. Next thing you know, the boys started throwing dimes. Completions over here, completions over there, completions everywhere. I thought Oprah was on the sideline. You get a ball, you get a ball, you get a ball, you get a short ball, you get a medium ball, you get a deep ball. No diddy. Bryce started distributing. We started to see the offense start to get a little swagger with them, starting to move down there, and they was pounding in spite of the defense. In spite of the defense. Family, how long has it been that we have been looking for a Bible offense that could offense in spite of the defense? Come on, talk to me now. Y'all don't hear me, though. Y'all don't hear me, though. The point that I'm making full surface of what I'm telling you that I believe the sky's the limit. I don't care about the numbers right now. I don't care about the stats. I don't care about the tape right now. I care about the hope. We sent Falcons home when it meant something. They had something to fight for. We didn't. The only thing we had to fight for was our name and that panther on the side of that helmet. And dadgummit, did they fight? And so now it comes full surface. Because, oh, how I'm so proud of BY9. How I'm so proud of Bryce 2.0. Because Bryce 2.0 has now graduated in my eyes to Swaggy B. The birth of Swaggy B. The Swaggy B era has become. Some call him the Carolina Reaper. So they call them all different types of names. But you know what you're not going to call them? You're not going to call them a bust. Now, I have a saying in the cat calls when I'm sitting there and I'm with the great Tony Dunn and I'm with the homie Cody Lack. I love to say this. If you ain't with us now, you're not welcome to the parade. Well, I'm doubling down. I'm tripling down. I'm quarter pounding. I'm Big Macking. I'm biggest sandwich you can think of. If you are not with us now, you are not welcome to the parade. We watched that our quarterback, our franchise quarterback, the guy that we traded trade capital for, the guy that we traded a franchise wide receiver for, coming into his own, the maturation of Swaggy B, the improvisation skills that he displays in that pocket. Some of them passes that he are throwing are so good that there's no way but only the receiver can catch it. The way he has extended plays, the way that he has that offense believing, regardless if it's 85 yards or 15 yards, they can go down the field and produce points and put us in a position to win. Oh boy, if you are not excited, I don't understand you. Oh, what a time to be alive. Now I know when the off season comes, there's always the hope. There's always the optimism. There's always the falsehoods of what you want it to be. But I'm telling you right now, without a shadow of a doubt, Bryce Young has now came through that door, and Bryce Young is ready to lead the Carolina Panthers. Chuba Hubbard is ready to be the tag team partner with Bryce Young. Excel, Jalen Coker, Jatavian Sanders, Moore, every single one of them to Tommy Trumbull if he comes back. Team Donkey Kong on the front line. The Trevian Wallaces, the Shaw Smith Waits, the Damani Richardsons, the Josie Jules, the Derek Brown. Oh, about that business Derek Brown coming back next year. If you can't find it to be excited for what the Carolina Panthers are putting on the table, maybe you need to reevaluate who you support. I understand being jaded. I understand having the PTSD, but when it is laid in front of you, you see that they're trying. You see that they're making adjustments and they're doing things to make this program prideful. Back to when we were really pounding, when Luke Kuechly was running through there with 20-some plus tackles a game. But when Josh Norman was picking off everything through the sky, when Stephen Davis, Deshaun Foster, D'Angelo Williams, and all the many numerous running backs was just getting thousands and thousands and thousands of yards each season. When Muhsin Muhammad was a possession guy. Steve Smith, Agent 89, who is still the standard. And let's not forget about Ace Boogie. We're going to get back there. You just got to believe. I believe. I'm not going to stop believing in what the Carolina Panthers are doing. We went and got the cap guy, Brent Tillers. We don't have to lay under the thumb of bad contracts anymore. We're firing coaches that didn't elevate positions in different areas to bring in guys that can give us the production that we need. We fired the scout team and brought in a new scout team so we can identify properly who are dogs and dogs that want to put on that Panther uniform. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. I know you see other teams turn around overnight. And yeah, would it be great to have a Super Bowl just out the blue? I would cry just as many tears as if I saw it coming. But when you know what we've been through, a decade of mediocrity, a decade of despair, a decade of being on the outside looking in while our rivals, teams we don't like, players that have left us, go on to reach success that we can only dream about. And now here comes the opportunity. The true, sincere opportunity to embrace your team and believe in your team and understand that your general manager and your coach and your cap guy understand the assignment. I believe we're going to have a lot of good times next year. Not without trials and tribulations. And you know what? I like it better that way. Because see, the trials and the tribulations help you look back later on to see, look where we came from, dog. I can't wait to look at Twan Don and be like, look where we came from. I can't wait to look at the homie Cody Lack and be like, bruh, you remember when we was in despair? When I can holler at Panther Pickle and we can collectively look at the NFL and say, shut the hell up, because we got that Lombardi. Oh, family is coming. I feel it deep down inside. This is our time. This is our era. This is our window. And where everybody's so afraid, where don't mess this up. You can't mess this up. You know why they can't mess it up? Because they believe. I believe. I believed when Dan Morgan said that he wakes up and thinks about where we was 2 years ago and how unacceptable that is and how that keeps him up trying to figure out how to get the Panthers back to that era where everybody was keeping and they was pounding. Now, I'm not going to hold you too much longer, but all I want to say to you right now is that I love every single one of you. Shout out to the C3 family, community, and the Legion. Shout out to the Carolina Blitz. Shout out to the 704 Charlotte Bound Show. Shout out to the Panther Prime podcast, PPP. They doing beautiful things over there. The 4-man rush. Panther content creators are a unique bunch. They are a special bunch. And I love every single one of them. Shout out to Miss Carolina Blitz Vashti. You just don't know you're slowly changing my life. Shout out to Sheena Quick for the beautiful coverage that she always seems to throw down on these Carolina Panthers. And family, just remember, if nobody's told you today that they love you, I love you. If nobody's told you that you matter today, you matter. And if there's something that you're trying to do, and it's holding you back and you're intimidated by it, or you just feel like you can't be successful, there's no other day better than the day to jump off the porch, baby. And remember, if you're not with us now, you ain't welcome to the parade. Keep pounding.
Nobody I needed. The real one's still around. Y'all be safe though.